Hey guys, today's project is going to be a heavy duty outdoor workbench. I'm sick of using flimsy plastic tables or making a mess indoors, and I wanted to make something tough, heavy duty, which is usually expensive if you want to buy something like that. Lumber alone is going to probably cost you about $100 because I'm using the 4x4 by 8 beams, which are about $10 a piece. Then I got the 2x4s, also 8-footers. It's all pressure treated, so outdoor friendly. We got 10 of the 4x4s for now, and I got 5 of the 2x4s. We'll see if that's enough, or if I need to get more, I can always return it. So that's good. So it's an 8-foot section. I'm gonna cut it probably to 6 foot, which should be more than enough workspace for outside. Right now I've been working on this 5-foot table. That's gonna leave me 24 inches here that I can use as a cross beam. So yeah, what are you gonna need? You're gonna need some tools. You need a saw, drills, a bit, level, square, pencil, wood glue, or liquid nails. Then I'm gonna try to Gorilla wood glue that's gonna go in between these guys. Exterior screws and some bolts that we're gonna try using. I don't have the clamps wide enough that everybody seems to be using to clamp this together when I glue it. So my idea is we're gonna use these heavy duty screws, and basically, as you see, the screw's not long enough. So I'm gonna drill a hole like up to here. Screw will go in loosely up to this point, and then it will screw into this beam, and I'm gonna tighten them together one by one as I glue them. It will give it a good strong hold over time instead of just glue alone. It's just gonna take more time than using clamps, but it'll let me work a lot quicker on the rest of the stuff. So we're gonna assemble the top, let that start drying. Once we do that, we'll work on the base, and then we'll just mesh them two together. So let's get started. All right, so we got our beams leveled out. I got 2x4s in the table to get a flatted base as possible on the bottom. It's an outdoor table, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but we can sand it down after. So this is basically the bottom. This will be the top of the table when it's done. I have a screw right here and a screw right here, kind of holding them tight together, as I'm gonna just hit this with one cut. So I wanna do a 6-foot table. I wanna cut some of that ends off too as well, because they're not the cleanest. So I'm gonna cut 5 inches of those ends. So I measured 6 feet 5 inches to my cut line. And now let's just cut it. Safety first. Most important, don't forget your safety glasses. So this is a 4x4, it's not going to cut through. I was thinking about flipping them one by one, but I'm going to just try to do it by hand. So one thing is, this wood is still kind of wet inside, so you do want to dry them out. I've been trying to dry them for a week now, but we had rain, so I had to cover it and so on. So I'm just going with it. But the recommended thing is let the wood dry as best as possible, especially with pressure treated. So yeah, we'll just cut it by hand now. And it's crappy salt, wet wood doesn't mix. Let's find a better saw. Alright, so yeah, we're not gonna be doing this by hand because it's gonna take forever. We're gonna flip them one by one. I did one to test it out. It's actually pretty quick. So what we're gonna do is this guy. I already cut the other end off as well. So we already have. Oh yeah, one thing I want to show you guys. I'll mark my beams. B for bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So everything is in order, and I know which is bottom, which is top, because I picked the smoothest surface to be the top of the bench. So I already have my cut line here. I'm just gonna take my square. You can use a tape measure. This is just another way of measuring out where you want to cut. Mark it here. Mark it here. and just cut it. And there we go. Perfect clean cut. We'll do this with all 7 beams on both sides, and then we can start on gluing and screwing. All right, guys, we'll be right back. All right, so we got it all cut out, 6-foot sections, nice and even. Now I'm gonna pre-drill the holes for the screws before we start gluing, because I don't have the clamps to clamp this 25-inch width. Yeah, if you want to do it quicker, definitely get the clamps, some glue, and you just clamp it up and you'll be done with it. We're gonna go the long way, which I'm hoping is actually gonna be more secure and more solid, because with time glue does dry out. I don't care how heavy duty it is. So if you guys check this out, we have 3.5-inch outdoor screws. My goal is to do something like this. I'm gonna go every 8 inches, starting at 2-inch increment here. I already marked this off. So 4x4 beams are actually like 3.5. So 1.75, and then in the middle 2-inch. This is gonna be my first hole, and then I'm going every 8 inches from here on out. So it's about 10 screws per beam. That's gonna screw into the other beam. I measured out 3.5 inches. I'm sorry, 3.5-inch beam. I measured half of that, so 1.75 on the drill bit here with some tape. So I'm gonna drill till I hit the tape. That's gonna give me this much screw into one beam, and then that's gonna screw into the other. So we'll get started on that. Perfect. And we're gonna go through all of them like this. And once we put the screw in, you guys can see I have this much sticking out that's gonna go into the other beam. So that's the idea. So I'll just get all the holes ready and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so we got all our beams drilled. We drilled everything except the last one, because everything's gonna be going one into the other. One thing I forgot to tell you guys is don't measure every single one the same way, because as the screws go into each other, they're gonna hit the screw in the other beam. So do like a 1-inch difference every other one, just to mix it up. Now we're gonna quickly sand down the surfaces where we drilled, so it's all smooth for the glue. So we're gonna hit both sides, where the glue connections will be. So, by hand, or if you got a sander. We're gonna hit every side like that, clean it all up so there's no dust on it, and then we can start gluing and hitting it with the screws. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty, so we got all the holes drilled, everything's sanded and clean. Now we're gonna glue and screw them all together. So remember, we're starting from the further outmost beam, the one that we didn't drill, so beam 7. I removed the other ones to the side. So let's lay the glue on the one that will go into it. Zigzag motion. And a little extra. We have about 10 screws going into the beam, so that should secure it pretty well. So let's line it up. Get a nice long bit so you can reach in there. And that's it. I'm just gonna hit it one by one. Some glue coming through, that's a good sign. And that should do it. We're gonna get our next beam, same idea. Remember which one was your top, which one was your bottom. The holes here, which are going to be a little offset from the other holes now, so it doesn't go into each other. Hit this with glue, repeat the same process till we get to the end. So we finished the bottom base last night. We let this dry overnight. It's all solid and ready to go. So I don't waste your time. I already pre-cut everything and drilled all the holes for assembly. I'm making the bench about 33 inches tall, which is taller than a typical plastic folding table, but shorter than like a indoor workbench, which I think at 36 inches. So I cut the legs to 29 inches, plus the 3.5 on these guys, gives me about 32.5. Then I got these side beams here that I used the leftover wood that I'm gonna use this to secure the legs to. Bolt all this down. I'm gonna use big bolts here, big bolts going through here, and a few more extra screws. I pre-drilled all the 2x4s here already that we're gonna mount it to the bottom of the table. And same thing, we'll bolt this in. I got an extra middle one here just for balance, you know, keeping everything nice and secure. I had these little extra pieces that I'm just gonna put on the back here just to have everything nice and tight. And then we're gonna do the cross beams and the cross beams here to make sure this doesn't wobble. I'm leaving myself 1.5 inches edge space everywhere in case I want to clamp something to the table. And just to confirm, I used 7 of the 4x4 beams. These side beams are 69 inches. These are 18.25. The legs are 29. Then I have the 2 cross beams here that will be 62 and then 18. But you know, everybody does it differently. So do what works for you. Still measure. Don't go by my measurements. You know. So let's assemble this and see how it goes. First, I'm gonna bolt these guys down. So then this way, none of this slides. Okay. Now we can bolt these guys. First, I'm just going to use a screw to secure this in the middle. And now we can bolt it down. You can use a ratchet, or you can use your drill, which will be a lot faster. Some washers, some bolts. So I don't have enough big and small bolts. So I'm going one big here, one small here. Shouldn't make a big deal. And then I'm going big ones for this. Alrighty. Those are 3.5 inch bolts, and then these are 5.5 inch. So I definitely recommend the bigger ones for here, or even the ones that will go through all the way, and then you can seal it, you know, use a nut on the other end and with the thread version. Before I do this, I'm gonna secure this guy. now we can bolt this leg on. So I'm going to use the shorter bolt on this end because I'm only using a 2x4 here. We're going to go with the bigger bolt here. And this is solid already, so we're gonna basically go around, secure all these 2x4s, this, and so on, same as on this end. And once we do that, then we'll assemble the top. So let me do that, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, we got it all assembled, everything's screwed in tight. I didn't use glue because I don't really feel it's necessary for this part, but used a heck lot of screws and bolts. So everything's secure. One thing you want to do is make sure you have everything nice and level before you start assembling this. I actually added extra beam here because my table started settling, just to make sure the table's level when I started doing the top. Sometimes people actually build the base separately and put the table on top. I had this already like this, I'm just going with it. So we're gonna mount the side beams now. And I measured 17 inches from the bottom here, and I got bolts to help me hold it up. So as I'm doing this alone, and everything's nice and even already, I leveled it, made sure. And I'm just gonna secure these down. To the other side, do the same thing. And these little guys are actually going to go right in here in between, but I'll install those after I get this one on. Same idea. I already got my little guide screws here after I measured it. As you see, nice and flush. Take these guys off. I'm gonna reuse them. Now just get these side beams. So you can go on the outside across. I'm actually going to put them inside here, as I'm going to do a little bench later on the bottom as well, just for storage. gonna do one bolt each, then finish it later with more. So finish the other side, clean this up, and then we can flip it and see if it stands. Alrighty. Flip the bench over. I want to say it's at least 100 pounds right now, but it's all done and it's heavy duty. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere. I ended up putting the sides here as well because the inside was a little awkward. So it's all around, and then I'll probably build a little platform here later on once I get some extra pieces. So basically what you needed for this was 9 4x4s total for the legs and the top, using 7 across, and then 4 of the 2x4s, all pressure treated. So yeah, that's about 120 bucks just in wood alone as of right now, 2020. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please like, thumbs up, and more coming soon. Thank you. This is a quick video just to show you guys close up. This will probably sand down just to even it out later on. You guys saw the bottom. Thanks for watching.